good morning, everybody, and welcome to Doppler's Gear Garage. Gosh darn it, it's Saturday. Bratton, what the heck are you doing up, my man? Oh, that's going to be a little loud. Hang on a second. There we go. All right. Well, first of all, Tony, hello. Great. Thanks for joining us. Chris Alexander, good morning to you. Brenton, good morning. No, you're up late, right? Come on, there we go. Jimmy Ward, good morning. Jimmy Jet, good morning. All right, well, first of all, what the heck is that? That is my... That's my Mark 7. This amp just doesn't cease to amaze me. First of all, let me just say hello to just what I need for a late night. That must be a ride home or something. All right, good. Brett, what's happening? Great to see you, my friend. That thing is just very edgy. Yes, absolutely. I can read English. It just makes you want to play the guitar, which is a great thing. All right, Vegan Rocker 2011. Good morning, good morning, good morning. All right, Melissa Doppler, have a great day at that trade show. Rick Harrison, hey. Okay, Brooks Lundy, hello, my dear friend. So it's been quite a week. So I'm excited to be back in the chair here with you. So what are we going to do today? First of all, let's see if I can do this right. Oh, hey, fancy footwork. Let's see if this works. There we go. Hey. All right, so we got a little bit. Brett, hey, hello. Great to see you, my friend. Oh boy. Okay, great. All right. Well, so we got a little sheet work here to do. We got some sheet stuff to go over because this is in many ways like an un-Patreon period of time for me because I just love being able to hang out with other guitar players and talk about a range of subjects. Every week I have all these grandiose plans that I'm getting closer and closer towards executing, but these little Google Sheets here are a step towards one of the key things that we're going to be focusing on. Now, what I didn't do today with all of this business was I did not yet create a shareable link because I was having way too much fun playing along with my rig. Uh-oh, where did you go? You get over there, you little sideways screen, you. I'm going to make you smaller. I'm going to make you small. I don't know about you guys. I frequently talk to my Google Sheets, but it's so I can get a shareable link. So give me just a moment. I'll put that down and everywhere that it should be. There we go. Let's try that again. All right, so we're going to share this document. So this is an important part of what I'm working on that I want other guitar players to be able to really kind of dig into. One of the most important things for me as a guitar player is the ability, first of all, it is now up on, that link is in the chat for That's on Facebook, and if you give me a minute, I'll get it up on YouTube. You over there. There we go. Come on. All right, I have to have that screen selected. Let's get over there. There we go, and that's now going to be up on the tube of you. Let's get that. There we go. I can paste it right here. See, there we go. And all right, so we're going to get back to that, but let me just clarify why this is so important and so on my heart. I'm going to answer that question that came in, but first and foremost, there we go. I'm seeing it twice. The ability to have a sense of where you are on the neck without having to look on the neck is one of the things that is becoming increasingly important to me in my world of guitar playing. And I think for a lot of players, there is so much of the journey that can unfold there because of what it means. And you know, it's an interesting thing. I almost went over this chord progression that another quote-unquote YouTuber had presented. It's a Stevie Wonder chord progression. And I'm almost positive in future episodes, I'm going to get to your volume question in a moment, but I just wanted to unpack this. It's a Stevie Wonder song that's an F major to a B flat minor to an E flat major to a D flat major, E flat major to F major. And having a lens through which we can look at this stuff is important. So the ability to play the instrument without having to have your face down into it is a really important thing. But there's another nuance to that. That is to say, if you can play, let's see. You can play an A flat. I know that's an A flat. That's another A flat right there. Another A flat right there. And the ability to play your way around the neck without having what I call, hey Spencer, what's going on? I tried to get to your link and it wouldn't let me in, but I love you dearly, but you knew that. And I will try and catch up with the chat in a quick moment. Kevin, hello. Paul Richard, good morning. Well, Spencer, nice to say hi. Thank you. Hi. Eric, hello. Here we go. Hello, hello, hello. All right, so the deal is this, you know, it doesn't matter what key you're in. Most of us have a bad case of minor appendicitis. That is, say, we look at the neck and our hands like drawn to A minor pentatonic. And there's nothing wrong with that. Michael, great, good morning to you. Jim, hello. But there's some nuance to that, because if we see the same shapes at the same locations over and over, we play the same shapes over and over. So how do we break out of that? And how do we take what we've learned there and map it elsewhere? What we're going to start working with, and my buddy Shane asked this question that slightly boxed me into a corner last week, and I'm really glad that he did that, because he asked me about, you know, kind of 9 chords, in this case a major 9, in this case a dominant 9. And all of that stuff, and how you go about making sense of all of that. One of the things we're going to do today is talk about the, I'm in the right window, there we go. There we go. I'm going to talk about the major scale there, but I need this guy a little bit more like this. Hang on a second, let's get this all dialed here. All right, you are misbehaving here, and I'm not very happy about that. Come on. Get you a little bit more like that. There we go. Now, why are you being... All right, that's okay. We got you. I got you. Hang on a second. Let's do a little bit of this. All right, now why are you... All right, fine. Just be that way. It's okay. I had it all centered and all beautiful looking until I went to share the link. All right, so here we've got this little bit of business here. Let me shrink this down a little bit more. There we go. That's going to give us what we want. Okay, so what we've got here is this major scale. And we're going to come back to that question I had a moment ago, but I want everybody to be able to see this because this is going to be what we're going to be teaching off today, and that's down in the show notes. Okay, good. So one of the most important things for me is this journey of being able to not only for myself be able to play the notes kind of, oh, let's move you down a little bit, Mr. Doppler. Come on. All right, I guess you're locked. So you know what? That's going to work. All right. The ability to take the neck and be able to kind of go, hey, G major, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. And be able to find those notes to be able to construct different things with them. And last week, when we were kind of fiddling around with this business over here, this one's now, you're offset. Oh, I just love this. Okay. You just hate me. All right. In any case, we were working with kind of mapping out the notes of the major scale and kind of making sense of all that. All right, I get it. I'm going to have to do this, and then I'm going to have to move you. No, you're just, all right, good. All right, that's going to work. There we go. All right, so the deal is what we were doing was taking the notes of the major scale and kind of saying, hey, here's the G major scale. And you can play it linearly or laterally. And if you start off of each successive tone, that's where the modes come from. And if you take the first, third, and fifth, that's where all that business comes from. Where this becomes the intersection of this is when we start building chords. And, oops, no, not like that. That wasn't what I was looking for. That is what I was looking for. So we're going to walk through some of that stuff. But before we do that, I want to get back over to Hearski. And let's see if I can get to the right screen. All right, Ecamm Live. You. In the world of Ecamm Live. I want to step on that button. There we go. All right, so first of all, I had a really good question about managing volume. So let me get back to that. First of all, Marino, hello. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. David Blood, hello. Great to see you. Barry in the house. Gilberto, como está, amigo? Buenos dias. Capture notes. Hello, hello, hello. We're going to capture some notes out in the wild and otherwise. So where was that question? I think it was Brett's question. All right. Juicy tone, juicy tone, juicy tone. Hello. There you go. What do I, there we go. What do I use to mitigate the volume of the amp for practice? Such a great question. So this is a Mesa Boogie moment happening if I ever needed one. So this amp right now is totally running direct. And when I'm doing a live stream, I've got a little fancy foot switch down here that's going to turn off my gosh, that makes you want to play. So, first and foremost, out of the back of said boogie, it does make a little bit of noise. So there's a video coming, and Melissa always hates it when I do this, but I can't resist. In theory, I can say this. In theory, I'm going to do a video with my buddy Mason from Vertex, Brian Emilian from Emilian Audio, and my homeboy from Goodwood Audio, whose first name I'm completely forgetting. In any case, about guitar noise. And if you listen to that, and sorry, my buddy's name is Grant from Goodwood Audio. That lead channel, because of all the ganked up produces a certain amount of noise. Now the deal is that when I'm playing live, I play with an obscene amount of volume because I love that. And there is some noise, so dealing with that is one thing. But when I'm here in the studio, the ability to come out of the XLR out on the back of the amplifier there and go straight into my universal audio interface is a big deal. So I can just play at whatever volume I want to play at. And this is actually another one of the nuances of some of the videos that I'll be making. So I will officially say that I'm going to be doing the 360-degree guitar podcast. And it's going to allow me to take all these things, these ideas that I've been germinating in my mind on a giant piece of paper that's on the stairway over there. of all these different ideas, and I've marked down a bunch of them, one of which is going to be how to manage noise of all different sorts. And that's where my buddy Grant from Goodwood Audio, Brian Emilian from Emilian Audio, and Mason from Vertex are going to be joining me, because they did an amazing live stream on noise gates. But there's more to it, and they kind of unpacked a bunch of the concepts in that, but they didn't have any playing examples. So I was like, dudes, can we get together and do, so we're going to do one of the 360-degree guitar podcast episodes is going to be on controlling noise, some of the different strategies, placing something like this in the loop. Now, I will say, when I got this thing, it's like, wait a second, it's got 4 jacks. I'm like, you know, so I had to spend a bit of time unpacking, and I love my friends at Roland, unpacking a Boss/Roland manual, and if you've ever had to do that, you've done that. So we'll leave it there. Products are amazing, the manuals, not so amazing. All right, so in any case, the ability to unpack how to manage your noise is one of the things. The other thing is, Craig Rosen, one of the guys that I know from the guitar camps, he and I have been having this great exchange about building a wet, dry, wet rig. And the principles behind doing that, the strategy of being able to do that, and one of the things is potentially, I'm holding up a piece of paper with nothing on it, other than to say mapping stuff out, because what we're trying to do, and Andy Wood has this great video with him and the guys from XTS, they put together a Van Halen rig that basically is taking this wet, dry, wet concept. And for those of you that speak Van Halen, how to put together that kind of crazy rig where, for me, my strategy is, and I'm going to be building a couple of different wet, dry, wet rigs. As a matter of fact, I'm going to step away from the camera a little bit. Doug Doppler, in his handy dandy wiring, actually did something. Me and a soldering gun is dangerous business, but for the sake of demonstration, boy, this is me having a whole bunch of fun here. So basically, Boogie, oh, there we go, makes a couple of different jacks for their cabinets. And so I had ordered to replace the stock jack / plate. So this is the traditional plate you would see on the back of one of these Fillmore cabinets. And it's basically, it's an in and then the ability to jump to another cabinet. And, you know, I actually replaced it with a stereo jack here, or a jack plate, I should say, so I can run these 2 speakers either in mono together or in stereo. And that is specifically for building this crazy wet, dry, wet rig that I'm going to build with 2 cabinets. Actually, the funny thing is I'm going to build it 2 times over with 2 different sets of cabinets. That is to say, if you take a look at these guys, let me get them a little bit more like this. Let's see if I can do this without breaking anything. Come forth, rolling cabinet. Come forth. All right, there we go. So, and I've talked about this before, but this is where it's going to get brutally cool, is that basically the concept is the same for both the upper cabinets and the lower cabinets. Per this crazy thing that we're thinking about doing, I may end up finding some interesting ways to integrate all 4 cabinets. So the short version is, as I step behind the cabinets without knocking them over, hopefully, boom, 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 out go the lights. Take a fat Travers. Okay, so the idea is, hi, this one right here and this one right here are the center. And then this one over here and this one over there are the outside. And so the deal is, just like you're hearing right now, the delays and the reverbs are panned to the outside. Now let's see if it's routed in such a way you can hear just the delays and the reverb when I mute the channel. I don't think it will, but let me check. No, it's not. Okay, but I can do this, I bet. Give me a moment. No, okay. Unfortunately, it's not going to let me do that. But basically, you can hear, this is my direction. actually have a little reverb on the amp that I'm going to take off. Now I'm going to add the reverb in the DAW. Sorry, Universal Audio console. And now I'm going to add the delay. Now I wonder if I can solo those. I can't because they're on that bus there. All right. The point being is they do not in any way affect my direct signal. And that's kind of the moral of the story is that the direct signal is going to come on the center cabinets, but there's some nuance. If you want to run like a stereo chorus, the way I want to do that is I want the stereo chorus to kind of be left and right in the center dry cabinets, even though the modulation is going to make it wet, and my delays and the reverbs on the side. Why would I want to do that? Because if you put your stereo chorus on the far left and far right, versus you've got stereo chorus on, then you've just got delay, the level is going to come up and down. It's not what I'm looking for. Okay, so that's a future episode. I'm digressing, and I love digressing. So there's going to be all sorts of other fun stuff. So Mark Ian Bernstein, hello. No, I'm in the San Francisco Bay Area, but that was last Saturday, and it was an insane amount of fun, as you might imagine. You know, the fun part about something like that is that it's bad form to kind of say, hey, tonight I'm going to be doing this. So last week I was just like, all right, we're live streaming, you know. And tonight I'll be playing, which was pretty amazing. Thanks for asking. I'm not going to be down in Los Angeles. Brett Scott, Jerry. All right, good. Hey, what's going on, Brad? What's happening, my dear friend? So that's who the vegan rocker is. Hang on a second. Aha, there we go. Nice photo, by the way. Oh, I love it. So all my good friends from Guitar Camp. All right, Bradley, Edge, hello. Eric, Mariano, I have problems with names too. Dude, yes. Dr. Phil. Michael Cosentino, what's going on? Oh, no, Coseto. Vegan Captain Oats Brett, howdy. All right, excellent. All right, so, first of all, first of all, everybody, thanks for tuning in. Gosh darn it, Shane, hello. All right, so let me get to work here. And good, I've gone to the bottom of the list here. Tony, what's going on, my dear friend? Stefano. Shannon, hello. Sounds good, thank you. All right, so here's the deal. The ability to play by touch is an integral part of what we do, as is the ability to look at the neck and go A minor pentatonic and see how that's outlaid on the neck. One of the things that I'm really spending a lot of time working on is how do we actually take that visual recognition and make our tactile recognition just as strong. So I would like you to grab your guitar. And even if you're not able to do that wherever you may be, tell the G5 story, Brenton. I'm trying to work, my dear friend. So that's interesting, you know. One of the things that we're going to be focusing on collectively as we journey together, Miguel, que paso, amigo, is how to develop a better sense of touch with the instrument. For one of the biggest challenges, and I've mentioned this before, a lot of players hit the strings with the same volume over and over, and miss being able to, if you will, the analogy to a paintbrush. If you want to push the paintbrush really into the canvas, it changes the way the paint lays on the canvas. The same thing with the right hand. place the pick. Using your fingers. All that stuff really impacts what comes out. And it also enables us to break free. If the minor pentatonitis disease has got you, again, if you're just kind of tuned in, we look at the neck and our brain and our fingers and you go, hey, minor pentatonic. And you're playing the same stuff over and over. The same thing approaches the way we hit the strings. And one of the journeys that I'm on that I want to take as many people who want to go there with me is like, how do I pick up the guitar and have it feel fresh, right? So this song is Some Kind of Wonderful.
I'm calm. I got everything that a man could want. I got more than I could ask for. I don't have to run around. I don't have to stay out all night. 'Cause I got me a sweet loving woman. And she knows just how to treat me right. Well, my baby, she's alright. Well, my baby, she's clean out of sight. Don't you know that she is? She's some kind of wonderful. She's some kind of wonderful. She's some kind of wonderful. Yeah. A whole lot.
All right, so anyways, that's my buddy Caleb. So we are in the midst of making an album. Gosh darn it. And I'm prepping a song for him so he can lay his keeper vocal. That's literally my boy Caleb singing into an iPhone because he's Caleb. He's my favorite vocalist in the entire world because he is. And we work really well together. That's obviously Some Kind of Wonderful. But the idea is that a stupid happy accident happened. My buddy Glenn, dear friend, loaned him the Gibson amplifier that I've had on loan from Mesa Boogie / Gibson, and I loaned it to him so he could check it out. He actually has a huge collection of amps that he actually sold to the folks at Gibson, and one of the amps that got delivered here yesterday was really the prototype amp that the Falcon 20 was based off of. So I've got that amp upstairs, and originally that amp and this amp paired left and right was the guitar sound. So as I was prepping stuff for Caleb yesterday, I had this guy over in this one right here. And then I kind of ended up going over here. Initially, just on the rhythm, I just had all the delay and reverb off, so it was this little bit of business right here, because I was double tracking the rhythm guitar, kind of recreating what I originally had. And I kind of went, I don't know, wait a second, what if I did a different approach to it? And I kind of did a little bit more. I kind of took a much more kind of Van Halen one-ish approach, and I sent it off to Caleb, and he was like, yeah, let's do this. So I kind of then went over to the third channel, which is a little bit brighter. And the whole thing is that how do we, the bigger point, not get stagnant? So the idea is going, hey, how do we change it up, right? Let's see. Let me mute Caleb here. Sorry, guy. I love you dearly. I'll be hearing a lot more of you this week. All right, now I'm purposely trying not to look at the neck. So let's talk a little bit of strategically what we're focusing on today. One. Hold on, let me get to the right application. This little bit of business right. And we're looking to go not only there, we're looking to go, let's see, right here. Looking for that guy. There we go. So if we take a look at all that good business right there, and we look at the major scale, and this all in my mind is actually very connected, believe it or not. There we go. All right. So the deal is that we've got basically the scale degree number that the major scale starts off is the 1, and from column C on, and I don't know why it's illuminated like that, but I can fix that. I don't know why you're doing this. Come on. We were talking a little bit about noise before. Give me just a moment. What are you doing? I see why you're doing that. All right, so we want to be looking at this little bit of business right here for right now. So that business is basically, if you look at the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, it's indicative of any scale you would want to play on the neck. And the idea is there's a relationship that kind of connects those guys. That is to say, as we begin to think about the distances between the notes from the, as you kind of look at that little bit of business there. I wonder if my mouse is showing through. Oh, hang on, let me just take a look at Facebook and I'll be able to tell that. You over there. Oh yeah, it is. I can tell it's okay. So if you take a look at that, so from the 1, you go move a whole step up to the 2, whole step to the 3, half to the 4, whole to the 5, whole to the 6, whole to the 7, half to the 1. That is to say, this WWH, what a moron, hello, WWWH, represent whole, half, wholes, and half. And collectively, the ability to thank you. Play it by touch is the essence of what I want you to walk away with today. So first and foremost, I want you to look at the guitar neck. If you got one, or do it later, but just immediately go, hey, all right. As we look at the numbers of the major scale, in this case, we're starting at the 3rd fret on high E string. It's going to go, the 1 is going to be a whole step to the 2, whole step to the 3, half step to the 4, whole step to the 5, whole step to the 6, whole step to the 7, half step to the 1. And just the 2 and the 3 repeat up there on the top. So the idea is you got and you've got these little 3-note sequences. And the neat thing about it is you can just motor up and down. Or but the thing I discovered is I can play it one heck of a lot better looking at it then I can not looking at it. I was like, well, what's wrong with me that I have to look at the neck to quote unquote play my best? I'm like, well, that's no fun. So I am working on fixing that. I want to take you on this journey because the importance of this is getting back to, and I looked, so there's my D. So I did not look at, that's my octave. So I'm thinking I'm looking for D. Because if I'm not looking at the neck, and I look down, I will admit. I'm going to play different things if I'm not looking at the neck than if I were looking at it. You're going to hear me say this ad flippin' nauseam, but it's a big deal. So how do we learn to do that? We take something that we can study and use that as the vehicle, the bridge to be able to do that. And this little bit of business here that I've been working on, and I'm not where I want to be with it yet, but I'm working on it, is basically taking, let's start off with, so I'm going to go through this little bit of business right here. There we go. You. There we go. So if we were to take a look at the formula, so we're going to be looking at, there we go, this, so on and so forth, all of that business. So if I'm looking at the major scale, the first three notes, hang on, let's do it like this. Let's select the first U through U. Let's do that. There we go. So if you look at the first three notes of each of those modes, looking from left to right, row 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. For the major scale, let's say 1, 2, and a 3. And a minute ago, we were talking about to go from the 1 to the 2 of the major scale, it's a whole step, and to the 3 is a whole step. So literally, you can so the Dorian mode's got a flat 3. Phrygian mode's got a flat 2 and a flat 3. Lydian 1, 2, 3. Mixed Lydian 1, 2, 3. Minor 1, 2, flat 3. Locrian 1, flat 2, flat 3. So that is to say I went major, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixed Lydian, Minor, Locrian. Now I'm going to go up and down. Now what I'm going to do, major, Dorian, so I'm playing it by basically taking the first three notes, the 1, 2, and 3 of, sorry, let me expand the range there. So now we're going the 1 through the 4. There we go. That is to say, I'm going 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 3, 2, 1. That's a great place to start. Kind of going, okay, well, actually, let me back up one step. Just, we're going to take the first three notes, and we're going to learn to play them just by touch, not looking. When we're wanting to do a full pitch axis, so as you're initially just onboarding this whole thing, you're just going to start with the major scale. But the goal ultimately is to be able to sit with all the modes. So you recognize the sound of the Phrygian mode. If Crazy Train was in Phrygian. And the point being is you're training your fingers to do things where you're really relying on that skill of what your fingers are hearing, what your brain in theory knows, and your ability to leverage that to play more melodically where we're playing. If I were to summarize this, I would say, generally speaking, if we were to take kind of our visual sense, our auditory sense, and our mental sense of that is to say, what we see on the neck, what we hear or what we know about theory, the visual side is arguably the one that is the least musical because it's just kind of by sight. If anything, it's going to cause us to play the same shapes over and over. And the danger of that is, let's say I'm in A. That note doesn't sit so good. That is A. My chord change is going to basically go from an A minor 7, if you will, to an E minor 7. That sounds great over the, if you will, that D chord there. interesting is if we play the same phrases where we kind of go really, really resolve, and we do that resolution note against the good chord, where it's a chord tone, it sounds great. And if we do it against a chord that note doesn't sit well, doesn't want to resolve, and the idea is you end a phrase. With a note that's one of the chord tones, because it's one of the chord tones, that's why they sound good. The other notes create tension. So if we're not thinking about that stuff, and we're playing repetitive shapes over and over, and that's why a lot of people have this problem where it's, they go to play the modes and they're gonna feel and sound like they're running scales. Totally get it. All right, let me just jump down into the comments here real quick and make sure I'm not losing people. James Knox, what's going on? Shane, crazy tainted Phrygian. I love this. Nandini, hello. All right, let's see. Let me just take a look at one thing. Testing 1 2. Hey, whoa. Why is my vocal level so low? Testing 1 2. Thank you for letting me know that. James, testing 1. Oh my. Hang on. Testing 1 2. Hey, testing 1 2. That's I'll be back in just a moment. I'm moving towards the flippin' microphone. Gosh darn it. Okay. All right. It's like that home improvement commercial where the guy drills the hole in the kitchen sink. Thank you for that, James. There we go. Oh, that's going to be about 1,000 times better. They call it a shotgun microphone because if you shoot it in the wrong direction, you don't hit anything. Let's try that. Oh, we're nice enough. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2. Hey. All right. Gosh darn it. Okay. Thank you for that, James. Now let's see. My testing 1 2 test. Hey. All right. Sorry about that, James. Thank you so much for that. Holy cow. So I've been completely redoing my entire studio, and I moved this desk, and I put down new carpet, and all this stuff happened. And James's comment, like the microphone's pointing off to like my neighbor's house. All right, thanks for that. Rock and roll now. Hey, Michael, I love that shot. All right, Shane, thanks so much. All right, so Tony, there we go. Not to mention the low vocals someone else did. Awesome, now it's perfect. All right. All right, first of all, so the idea of how do we develop that sense of touch and our ear, because ultimately, one of the other pieces that I'm going to do my best not to jump there too much yet, but I'm going to talk about it a little bit. The idea is oh, I can't help myself. I'm going to do it. There was a lesson that really great YouTuber, like really loved his approach, and I'm trying to wrap my head around, am I allergic to caged? Do I really appreciate the fact that it helps players map out the neck? Or as a music educator, am I troubled by the fact that there are pieces that it does not explain and leaves people in this strange in-between land where they know enough information to be dangerous, in that it is really great to be able to know how to play a C chord all the way up and down the neck. And the great thing about the cage system is that if you apply a diatonic approach to it without quite so much delay and reverb, one of the things that's hiding in plain sight is the ability, and you guys have seen me do this before, and you'll see me do it again, so the risk of repeating myself, but there's some new folks here hanging out today. Thank you so much, by the way. If I take this C major chord here, basically take my word for it, that's a C, E, G, C, and an E, and that is compared to that C major scale is the C, E, G, C, E, G, another C, E, And that's it. So that's C, E, G, C, E. C, E, G, C, E. That is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 3. That chord is voiced 1, 3, 5, 1, 3. 1, 3, 5. Not like that. 1, 3, 5, 1, 3. C, E, G, C, E. So if I just take the C, E, G of that business and I just kind of walk up that trio of strings, that's just playing the diatonic triads for the key of C. And if you start off the 3, that's a C major in first inversion. If you walk that up, and if you take instead of this and this, that is a C major. That's a C major in first inversion, and that's a C major in second inversion. So this really sets you up to be able to take this C form and really map out inversions. And traditionally, inversions are really complicated. There I'm taking C, G, B, D, B, D, G, D, G, B. That is a 1, 3, 5, 3, 5, 1, 5, 1, 3. Totally different fingerings and at different locations on the neck versus being able to take different voicings and map them diatonically. And as you get used to doing that, you're like, okay, I get the strategy. I'm just taking the first, third, and fifth notes, or I'm taking the third, fifth, and first, or the fifth, first, and third, or in whatever order you want, just kind of moving them up and down the neck. The challenge is this chord progression. And the teacher, and next week I'll probably pull up the video. Right, B flat minor. So I'm going to play that. I'll play that right. He did this really cool thing where he's using all these great chord shapes, but this one, when it went from the D flat to the E flat, he played that inversion. And that's nowhere in any of the shapes. That shape doesn't exist. It's basically, it's off this fifth string root major form. And he was basically going 1, 5, 1, 3. He was going 3, 5 when he went. And he was hanging out in this one area. It's really clever what he was doing. But he never once in the 22-minute video that I watched, I will go back and take a look, never mentions going, hey, by the way, as we look at this little bit of business right here, this little bit of business right here, he never mentions that, you know, as you're looking at the chords, it's non-diatonic to the major scale. So basically, if you look at this little bit of business, it's really what should be, that is 2 major chords a whole step apart. If you take a look at, well, you can look at this in a couple of different ways, but let's just take a look at our triads. Well, actually, if you take a look at rows 5 and 6, you're going to see that the notes are kind of colored in green. And that is the key kind of down below, like we talked about last week. Those are where major triads are. So there's only one spot. You got 2 major triads, a whole step apart. That's going to be the 4 and the 5. And then all of a sudden there's this F major. So that to say it's D flat major, E flat major, and F major. And you never bothered to mention, by the way, what makes this chord progression so cool. What should really be a 6 chord Stevie Wonder. He's taking what would be the 6th chord, so this should in theory be 6th chord, 2 chord. Oh, sorry, 6, 2, 5, 4, 5, 6. But because this little bit of business, I suck at that chord. I mean, one of my missions is to be able to get to that chord. The least friendly chord in the world. Holy cow. All right. right, not bad. I'll get there. The point being is that doesn't tell you anything about what the next chord is diatonically. It's a gorgeous progression, capture notes. So it got me thinking about, well, how would I actually kind of notate this? Which basically, I would, strangely enough, that is to say, if I were to kind of map it out in terms of a chart, which I didn't get a chance to do because I just was still kind of mid-process, I would basically describe that as where if you take a look at row 7, you're going to see that I've got, the mode is the minor, and it's a 6 with a lowercase Roman numeral 6 with a minus sign. I would write this as an uppercase Roman numeral 6, because it's really saying the 6th chord instead of being minor. Because if you look at how everything else is functioning, that's the 2, 4, 5, and what should be the 6 has been turned into major. So it's one of the ways that I would approach doing it. I have not completely thought about all the downsides of what happens in kind of reinterpreting that as I look at that, because really, what it's saying diatonically is everything else is in a common key, and what should be the 6th chord has been turned into a major chord. And it allows us to kind of frame everything, go, oh, that's what's going on. In terms of soloing over the top of that business, got this really cool minor pentatonic-y thing that you can do over the top of it, the 1, or I should say at the 6 major. But in looking at a cage, you just don't have a way of being able to kind of unpack that. And one of my big missions is to help other players unpack all this stuff, because it can be confusing. I realize the level of this channel is a little low. All right. So, Shane. Okay, good. All right. So, Nandini, getting back to this screen right here, because it's all tethered in my mind. You over here. Oh, there we go. I got 3 monitors here and 4 applications open, so I'm doing my best to navigate. So the deal is, we're just going to start off by mapping the notes with the major scale. And learning to get the ear. That's the open string. I can hear that's a half step, so that's the 1st fret. Another half step, 2nd fret, 3rd fret. So that means that's going to be my E hold. Yeah, sorry, E have to F hold a G. That's, or I can think of that as the 1 of the G major scale. 1 hold a 2, 2 hold a 3, 3 half to 4, 4 hold a 5, 5 hold a 6, 6 hold a 7, 7 half to 1, 1 hold to 2. Now I need to, let's see if I can shrink that down a little bit so you can see the rest of the stuff that did not come through. Now you're going to do that. Yeah, okay, that's fine. I got you. Good, that's what we need. And now I need to make this selection right here. So we're going to select this little bit of business right here. And that's just allowing us to see one. If you look at, you're going to see in column C there that the one that in that middle row there, if you will, that's a W. I could probably make those bold. Let me do that. Let me make all those bold. Come on. There you go. That didn't help much. All right, I'm going to change color. My apologies if this becomes some wacky color, but let's just do it like that. There we go. That's going to work a lot better. So as we look at this little bit of business right here, it allows us to see from the 1 to the, it's a 1, hold to the 2, hold to the 3, half to the 4, hold to the 5, hold to the 6, hold to the 7, half to the 1, hold to the 2, hold to the 3. And that allows us to begin to see how these little pieces get stuck together. But you notice, I'm trying. Actually, let me back up a step. The first thing you want to do is go, okay, wait a second. 1, hold to 2, hold to 3, half to 4, hold to 5, hold to 6, hold to 7, half to 1. We're going to ignore the 2 and the 3 for a minute. 1, half to 7, hold to 6, hold to 5, hold to 4, half to 3, hold to 2, hold to 1. So just so you can see that visually, because the visual gateway for most of us, myself definitely included, most of us are visual learners. So like, all right, 1, hold to 2, hold to 3, half to 4, hold to 5, hold to 6, hold to 7, half to 1, hold to 2, hold to 3, 3, hold to 2, hold to 1, half to 7, hold to 6, hold to 5, hold to 4, half to 3, hold to 2, hold to 1. I added the 2 and the 3 on the top there. Then you can go, okay, 1, hold to 2, hold to 3. Got it. 2, hold to 3, half to 4. 3, half to 4, hold to 5. 4, hold to 5, hold to 6. 5, hold to 6, hold to 7. 6, hold to 7, half to 1. 7, half to 1, hold to 2. 1, hold to 2, hold to 3. And then backwards, 3, 2, 1. 2, 1, 7. 1, 7, 6. 6. Boy, I can't go backwards. 6. So it's 7, 6, 5. 6, 5, 4. 5, 4, 3. 4, 3, 2. 3, 2, 1. And then we begin to look at this and kind of go, okay, got it, got it, got it, got it, got it, got it, got it. And I'm going to flip it around. And this way it's kind of going in through the visual door. But we're listening and we're thinking at the same time. So it's preparing us to go, oh, okay, wait a second. And if you can feel those notes right there, I hope you got your guitar. Do me a favor, go like this. And go like this. Now find that note and replace it with your first finger. So go like this. And switch back and forth. Now go. And same thing backwards. All right, so the idea is you might just spend a little time just getting So what I'm purposely doing there is, one, getting the transition between neighbor spots, but also, sorry, and then getting the next jump up. Right. Twice, right. I'm not as good moving this way, so I slowed down a little bit. but I didn't want to kind of play it forever. The neat thing about this is it really allows you to get in the grooves of this. So as you get back to this, you begin to feel where those transitions are without looking. And that's training you not the best sound for this, so this time I'm going to switch to a sound that's better. All right, let's see if I can do it. Now what I'm going to work on doing is kind of make a jump, one up and kind of move around each string, because once you recognize the sound on one string, that right there is the 7. So that means that's the G. Same thing. Moves around. And that you put a little bit of music to it. I'm going to move to the key of D Dorian, because I don't have something set up for G major. With a little flat 3 bent to the natural there. That is kind of how you begin to on-ramp that in a really active way inside your playing. And that little bit of business right there is a heck of a lot of fun. And again, we started off in G major. So, looking at this little bit of business here, what I am now talking about is taking, first of all, let me just check in over here on the thread. Okay, good. All right, first of all, Eric, how is the finger, my friend? My buddy Eric had a little episode with his finger, and he's hopefully on the mend. Pleasure, my friend. Great to see you. Nandini, this has been so helpful in committing the modes to memory. Something, draw the H column narrower than the W column just to paint that in my mind. This is also cool. Sometimes, right. So somebody mentioned this last week, and I took this to heart. So this little bit of business, right? Come on, there we go. I purposely put the W and the H columns narrower so it visually is a little bit easier to read. Let me unselect that bit of business. There we go. I don't necessarily like how busy that is color-wise, but in any case, I'm going to live with it for the moment. Hard to see what I'm working on. Sorry, Brad. Highway Star Solo comes to mind. I'll take that. Thank you, Michael. Still hurts a little. Sorry to hear that. Okay, so let me go back over to here. Are we where we want to be? Let's go here. Oh, no, you're not in the application you think you are. This is not the application you think you're in. All right. That's what happens when you have, okay, we're going to go here. There we go. All right, so the bottom line is that let's just say we're taking the A minor pentatonic. Move it down a half fret. Half fret, what a moron. Just do me a favor, if you got the guitar handy, just do me a favor, walk up. First finger at the G, at the 5th fret on the 4th string. Third finger a whole step higher at the A on the same string. And then the first finger at the C, at the 5th fret on the 3rd string. Take all of that, move it down a half step. Move it up without looking. Move it up another fret. And we're in B flat. Now, if you look down at the guitar neck, for many of us, we're going to like, oh my word, everything's in the wrong place. Until you kind of begin to get comfortable with, like, I don't know, B flat, D flat, E flat, F, A flat, B flat. Well, that's not that hard. Especially when you begin to get good at learning to play the notes by touch. All right, now, Nandini talked about this. So I'm going to jump back over to kind of high gear here. And thanks to everybody, first of all, that's tuned in. So the deal is what we want to be doing now. Let's get you over here. As basically if you think about the first 3 notes, they're kind of already selected. And I apologize if it's small, Brad. You can kind of see in columns C, D, and E, and rows. The rows aren't showing up, but this little bit of business, right? No, that's not going to. This little bit of business here, I'm going to select by going like this and this. Oh, come on. There we go. That basically is if you look at that, the first column going from left to right, that's 1, 2, 3. The next you got 1, 2, flat 3, 1 flat 2, flat 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, flat 3, and 1 flat 2, flat 3. Now, interestingly enough, can I do this? There we go. If you think about those things, I'm about to blow somebody's mind. Not everybody's mind, but somebody's going to go, holy flipping cow. Last time we talked about if you take the G major scale, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, and you start off with 2nd note, that's where Dorian comes from. Phrygian, so on and so forth. Now, if you were to take the notes of the G major scale, again, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, and B, starting off the first 3 notes, that shape is 1, 2, and 3. So that's a 1, 2, and a natural 3. If we start off the 2nd note, because of the order of whole steps and half steps, you can see why instead of being the 1 mode goes 1, 2, and 3, the 2 mode goes 1, 2, flat 3. Not 1, 2, 3, but 1, 2, flat 3. And the 3 mode, instead of going 1, 2, 3, goes 1, flat 2, flat 3. So you instantly, kind of looking at the shape, know a lot about the modes simply by their shape. Major, 1, 2, 3. Dorian, 1, 2, flat 3. Phrygian, 1, flat 2, flat 3. Lydian, 1, 2, 3. Mixed Lydian, 1, 2, 3. Minor, 1, 2, flat 3. Locrian, 1, flat 2, flat 3. And major, 1, 2, 3. So if I played the first 3 notes of major, and first 3 notes of Dorian, and first 3 notes of Phrygian, it's as if I took this and started it here. Started there. So what it just allows you to do is kind of go, wait a second, I can see why on the 3-note per string modes, major is shaped like that, and Dorian is shaped like that, and Phrygian. So when you begin to recognize these 3-note groupings and kind of go, well, that if I were to do that shape, that could be the first 3 notes of major, could be the first 3 notes of Lydian, could be the first 3 notes of mixed Lydian. I don't know until I hear. As it turns out, the first 6 notes of major are the same as the first 6 notes of mixed Lydian. So that's why we want to be listening for what type of 7 it's got. Now, this bit of business is saying, okay, well, we're just taking the first 3 notes of major, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, mixed Lydian, minor, Locrian, because it gets us really used to hearing the sound of the modes. And if you were to take not just the first 3 notes, now we're really cooking with sterno. So let's see if I can dial this up. No. Bad computer. Blame the technology. There we go. All right, so if you take a look at the first, all right, now let's go ahead and select. You've got that video coming about noise. Not a moment too soon. If we take the first 4 notes of each mode, so if we take a look there, you can see that major is 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I've selected 5. I cannot count. I'm fired. All right, if we take the first 4 notes of major, it's just 1, 2, 3, 4. First 4 notes of Dorian, it's 1, 2, flat, 3, 4. Phrygian is 1, flat, 2, flat, 3, 4. Lydian is 1, 2, 3, sharp, 4. Mixed Lydian is 1, 2, 3, 4. Minor is 1, 2, flat, 3, 4. And Locrian is 1, flat, 2, flat, 3, 4. So that is to say 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, flat, 3, 4. 1, flat, 2, flat, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, sharp, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, flat, 3, 4. 1, flat, 2, flat, 3, 4. So on so forth. Now I'm going to look at this and I'm just going to slowly just go. So that's just taking the 1, 2, and 3, and the 2, 3, and 4. Of major, and then the 1, 2, flat, 3, 2, flat, 3, 4, and of Dorian, and then 1, flat, 2, flat, 3, flat, 2, flat, 3, 4 of Phrygian, and of Lydian, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, sharp, 4, sharp, 4, 3, 2, 3, 2, 1. Then 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 3, 2, 1 of mixed Lydian, 1, 2, flat, 3, 2, flat, 3, 4, 4, flat, 3, 2, flat, 3, 2, 1 of minor, and then the 1, flat, 2, flat, 3, flat, 2, flat, 3, 4, 4, flat, 3, flat, 2, flat, 3, flat, 2, 1 of Locrian. And if you put it all together, sorry. And you begin to kind of get good at that stuff, you really begin to get the sound and kind of the formulas and the fingerings. And by the fact I can talk and play this at the same time means my brain actually knows this. And this gets us to the, let me finish, Locrian. Gets us to the most important part of this. It's muscle memory. Once it's committed, to muscle memory, then you don't really have to think about it. And that was kind of by virtue of like, major, I can be talking Dorian, I'm walking around, I'm in a blah, 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 blah. Obviously, there's something happening in the background where I've got enough of a command to that thing that I'm able to have cognitive, conversational thought while I'm doing that at the same time. And it's not like, I have any extra special thing other than the fact that I've practiced this meticulously and I've strategized about this. All right. So, okay, hang on. Let me just get down here into Chris Alexander. Maybe the idea would make the 3 lines green like last week's paper. Make the scale degree numbers 2 yellow. Yeah, I need to. Here's the thing. There's a YouTube lesson. All right, hang on. I'm going to go there. Hang on. This is what I dreadfully didn't want to do. Let's see if I can do this and select this. And who knows what kind of mess I'm going to make right now. No? Okay, hang on. Okay, then let me do this. Hang on. Okay, let's do this. We're locked. Give me a moment. Unlocking that scene. We're going to do this, and we're going to select when you're going down, backing track. There you go. I looked at that, and I was like, ah! Sorry, Jeff, let me scroll your name out of there. Or not. Come on. There we go. Jeff's name scrolled out of there. All right. So that, to me, I'm like, I actually know what this guy is actually thinking. So I'm actually going to walk through it. So the challenge is this. I look at this and I'm like, I just want to run. But what he's talking about, and I guess he is in all right, he's talking about it in D. I'm going to actually map this out. You just look at that, and I actually, the good news is that on one hand, he's labeled the scale degree numbers. That is to say, if I take the lower left shape, basically, and I played it here. Now, I would describe that whole bit of stuff in a very, very different kind of way. I would say, hey, we got the minor pentatonic. And just take my word for it. Let's just play the shape 1-4, 1-3, 1-3, 1-3, 1-4, 1-4, 4-1-4, 1-3, 1-3, 1-3, 1-4, 1. And again, great to be able to work with something you're really familiar with, looking at the neck. Not looking at the neck. Now, just for piss and giggles, we're going to do something. Slide it down a fret. Look at the neck. You're like, oh, my word, everything's in the wrong place. But because this shape, in theory, you can visually kind of go, all right, there's that shape superimposed on the neck. Then not looking. That's another way to begin to on-ramp these shapes. Playing, do me a favor, count up 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, I digress. Open 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is our A flat. Do me a favor, play me a riff. Look down at the neck. All right, now, you're a little bit more comfortable than you were before, so now when you look down at the neck, you might actually one day kind of go. So do me a favor, play me a I'm going to call this, I'm going to call it a G sharp minor chord. G sharp minor, F sharp major, E major. And now we're going to be in G sharp minor pentatonic. The reason being, this is functioning as a 6, this is functioning as a 5. Anytime you got two major chords a whole step apart, that's the 4 and the 5. We learned that last week. And above the 5 chord, it's going to be the 6 chord. Unless you're Stevie Wonder. I got to tune real quick. In any case, what we're going to do is we're going to then kind of set up a chord progression that you can spend some time with this week. Very simply going G sharp minor, F major, E major. And I'm playing that little F sharp, the G sharp minor triad, like that, using my thumb over the top to play G sharp in the bass. That's an F sharp major, thumb over the top. And I'm just fingering the 1-3 of that E major chord. Tip of the first finger is touching up against the side of the fist ring. So we hear, instead of... And now what you've got is I want you to spend some time one of the dangers about a key like this, that sounded better than it should have. If you accidentally hit in the key of A, or in this case, if I'm playing the A minor pentatonic scale, technically it's the 1 flat 3 4 5 flat 7 of the Dorian. The 1 flat 3 4 5 flat 7 of the Phrygian. And the 1 flat 3 4 5 flat 7 1 of the minor. But that note right there is an A, and for the Phrygian, it's got a B flat instead of a B. And so the idea, if I go that open B string, it's not in the key. But for Dorian, and for minor, that open B string is. So, but for G sharp minor pentatonic, if I happen to do a kind of a lick like that, it actually sounds better than if I go. Those open strings generally don't play very friendly for G sharp minor pentatonic. And that's kind of the all along the Watchtower rhythm. The idea is getting comfortable with playing visually in this key and then not looking. The goal is to take the visual thing that we learned at A, move it down a half step, and initially I called it A flat, but now because of the way the chord progression ran, this had to be an E, had to be an F sharp, I should say E major, F sharp major, G sharp minor as opposed to A flat. That is to say, this consecutive whole step relationship, this had to be some sort of E, this had to be some sort of F sharp, which meant this needed to be some sort of G sharp, or some sort of G, in this case a G sharp. Then you'll go, all right, that's all right, G sharp, B, C sharp, D sharp, F sharp, G sharp. That's not that scary. More importantly, as you look at it, getting back to the diagram over here to my this guy's business. Basically, what he had, and if you take the 1 flat 3 4 5 flat 7 1 flat 3 4 5 flat 7 1, and that is to say, if we took the G sharp major scale and we compared the third note of the major scale with that second note of the minor pentatonic, take my word for it, it's a flat 3. Well, actually, I can tell you why it is. The smallest distance between any pair of notes in the major scale is a half step. And the largest distance between any adjacent notes is a whole step. So if something's 2 whole steps apart, that's mirroring the distance of the first 3 notes of the major scale, that's called a major third. If something is either a whole step and a half step, or a half step and a whole step, if you look at the distance of the major third, it's called a minor third. Major third, minor third, minor third, major third. So anytime you have an interval of a minor third which is 1, 2, 3 frets in distance, it's a flat 3 as an individual scale to number as you play the interval. That's a minor third, or you play that same note as a dyad. That's a minor third. So when we think of it on its own, it's a flat 3. Paired with another note, either in a sequence like that, intervallically, or played at the same time, dyadically, that's a minor third. Flat 3, 1, flat 3. I should say flat 3 as it relates to this note, minor third, minor third. So the point being is that if this is going to be G sharp, this is going to be B, that's going to be C sharp, that's going to be D sharp, that's going to be F sharp, and again G sharp. So if this is G sharp, that's going to be F sharp. And a minute ago we walked our way up, we knew that had to be E, that had to be F sharp. If this is F sharp, why is it F sharp? It's the next chord G sharp and not A flat, because it's a minor third away. So that is to say, if this is some sort of F note, which it is, E, F sharp, the next note, if it's either a half step or a whole step, it's got to be some sort of G, which is why it's G sharp minor as opposed to A flat, because it's breaking the rules of music. All right, I'm going to leave that for right now. All right, the deal is this bit of business over here. I actually am going to go back to this. Let's see if I can get to that. Here we go. If I were to take this if you see where in the lower left-hand corner that R is written, I'm playing that R root at the 5th fret on the 6th string. So let's ignore that little bit of business on the 3rd string for a moment. Let's just take a look at it. Oh, hang on. All right, sorry. Let me hang on a second. All right, so if I were at A, that's the 1, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 7, 1. I can take these two notes right there. That note is C. I can play right there. So instead of going, I can go, and I can add that next note below there. So this is the 1, flat 3, 1, flat 3, 1, flat 7. 1, flat 3, flat 7, 4. I'm walking up flat 7, 7, 1, flat 3, 1, flat 3, 1, flat 3, 7, flat 7, 4, flat 7, 4. So the point being is that it allows us to be able to go, what is that? We have a way of describing that. Now the point being, what they were doing was kind of mapping those notes out, and it's actually kind of cool. They wrote out flat 7, 1, flat 3, 4, flat 5, 5, flat 7, 1, flat 3, 4, flat 5, 5, flat 7, 1, flat 3, 4, flat 5, 5. But it's, as you look at it kind of over here, it's kind of scary looking. I look at that, I'm like, holy cow, it's all those different colors. So I'm trying to navigate in my own head how to document that stuff in a way that makes it visually clear. And you know what I love is that it's actually telling you what you got. But I looked at that, and for me at least, I looked at all that stuff and I just went, I'm out of here. That was my emotional response, which is a stupid one as a student of music. I spend more time studying music these days, I think, than teaching it, because I want to understand how different things are working, right? And be able to use it to create music. All right. First of all, let me just get back into the chat here to make sure I haven't missed anything. All right. Sorry. That's very awesome. Thanks, Capture. Taking the first 3 notes, then the 2. Taking the first 3 notes, then 2, 3. Exactly. So that idea is, and here's, you know, gosh darn it, this stuff seems so obvious to me, but the more I work with other guitar players, the more it becomes very clear that what's obvious to me sometimes isn't obvious to other people. So I'm like, okay, that is, say, if I can go like this and kind of begin to think of playing the major scale like this, then I want to know what it's like to be able to play the Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, mixed Lydian, sorry, minor, oh, come on, flat six, and Locrian. And be able to play them linearly and understand what's going on. But more importantly, now the Locrian mode, oh, sorry. That was a natural 5 instead of a flat 5. So it's not, I'm not only playing this, I'm not just playing the Locrian shape, because there I'm playing G. And I know it's G because I'm just playing the shape, and I know that's my flat 5. So here is Crazy Train in all 7 modes. Hold on, let me try that again. Sorry. And that, by the way, is what I call going modal. Because if you understand that that's... Jimmy Jett, are you still here? Okay. Awesome, Michael. Thank you so much. So this is what's so cool about, and this is the essence of what the pitch axis is about. You hear the first 3 notes of major, first 3 notes of Dorian, first 3 notes of Phrygian, first 3 notes of Lydian, first 3 notes of mixed Lydian, minor, Locrian, or more importantly, enough to begin to recognize the essence of what's happening there. It really becomes, it's intriguing. I think most of us have a certain mental curiosity about why it's working, and at least enough to be able to understand when we hear something. And it was, I had a student, I'm not going to mention any names, but he is here today, and he can actually raise his hand if he wants to, but he was mentioning that he has a hard time hearing which note is, which, as he's trying to figure something out. And so being able to not only recognize these guys, so if I were to take 1, 3, 5, I'm going to play the second finger root most. There. That's major. Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, mixed Lydian, minor, and Locrian. That allows you to see that major has a natural 1, 3, 5. Getting back to, let me get over to my other diagram. Let's see if I can do this without breaking anything. I know it's going to go to the wrong sheet here, but I'm going to fix that. We want to go to Untitled spreadsheet. Untitled spreadsheet. Where are you? Untitled spreadsheet has retired. Oh, come on. There we go. All right. Why? Oh, I get it. I'm going to choose to ignore what it's doing. Okay, so the idea is that you can see if you look at, oh, I hate how small that is. Give me a moment. Let me see if I can doctor this up a little bit. There we go. Now, why are you? That's just so strange. Okay, so now let's do a little bit of this. All right, you weren't doing that before. So annoying. Okay, so as you look at all of that business, okay, hang on a second. Tony, is there any way we can print that graph you've been referring to during this lesson, Doug? Love today's wealth of modal exploration. Tony, my dear friend, hang on a second. So I shared this last week, but I am going to share it. Thank you for reminding me. I'm going to share this link right now. Copy link. Thank you. Copy link. Thank you. Done. I am putting this into the chat on Facebook, which is where you are, so you're going to see it in a matter of moments. There we go. There we go. And then I'm also going to put it into the chat here. Good. Okay, good. Now everybody should have that bit of business there. Good, 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 good. Oh, with pleasure, my friend. So you should be able to access that. I've created the permissions on that. So everybody should be able to get into that. And I don't know what I've done with that first column there. So hang on, let me fix this little bit of business here. Come on. There we go. We're going to take this. Oh, let's make life easy. Let's do this. Oh, okay, there we go. I don't know what I did. All right, so now you can, if you take a look at, this row right, oh, stop that, right here, and this one right there, and that one right there, you can see purely driven by the formulas of each of the modes, you have a major chord for the major Lydian and mixed Lydian. Conversely, if we said, hey, we're going to play a major chord at A, it could be the 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5 of major. It could be the 1, 3, 5. Sorry, the 1, 3, 5 of Lydian. It could be the 1, 3, 5 of mixed Lydian. So if I hear this chord, Brett, with great pleasure, my friend. With great pleasure. So let's say we're just hearing that chord. Go ahead, and I want you to record this or throw it down on like your phone or anything, whatever you got. That was major. Lydian. Mixed Lydian. Major. Sorry. Now, Tony Lucchese. Wait a minute. You had me memorize all this stuff. So, the goal here, let me change screen share. Is that going to let me get where I want to get to? No. Okay. Fine. You. All right. Hold on. I need to be here. I know where I need to be. All right. I'm in Ecamm Live. There we go. Come on. Top level application. Hello. Oh, okay. Fine. I get it. All right. Hey, okay. There we go. That's what I was looking. First of all, Tony, it's an interesting thing that you bring up. So a number of my students, like you and Nandini and Eric, I teach a bunch of this stuff in my lessons. And Melissa and I had this conversation about what's good teacher etiquette, about what you would charge people for, and then what you share as kind of public knowledge. In many ways, kind of, I like to use, as I mentioned before, this time as kind of an open office hour. So, which means, Tony, you are free to pepper me with all the questions that you might not normally have time in a lesson where, ironically, when I'm working with a student one-on-one, it's kind of like it's not like I don't answer questions, but most of what I'm trying to do is fill up a balloon with as much air as I possibly can in that period of time. Versus here, the posture is much more like, hey, what comes in? What questions are going to happen? Like, Shane last week with, let's talk about 9 chords. In any case, your point is as follows, is that the sheet there, first of all, in the PDF that you got, I actually do write out what's altered about each of the different modes. But I also, what I'm getting people to do here, and Tony, unfortunately for you, you came in at the very beginning of this process, but the idea of getting and not having to look, really getting that thing underneath the fingertips, what is it that happens that you learn that when you're looking at the neck, that certain things make sense? That is to say, Tony, I know that if you looked at this, you would see G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, and you would see 1 hold to 2, hold to 3, F to 4, hold to 5, hold to 6, hold to 7, F to 1. What happens though? We're thinking something a little bit differently when we're learning to play it, an on-ramp playing increasingly by touch. Because what's happening is when we play by touch, we're no longer quite as locked into the shapes that we see when we go. So the idea is, for me, those shapes are really important. Because they're one of the fundamental parts of the guitar. The guy's a free bird. They weren't thinking about going 1, 1, 1, flat 7, 5, flat 7, 1, flat 7, 5, 1, flat 7, 5, 1, 1, flat 3, 1, flat 3, 1, flat 3, 1. They weren't thinking that. They were thinking the shape and a sound. And that's one of the things that makes the guitar special. And increasingly, if we begin to kind of go. So I just went like, all right, we're going to play just 2 notes together. What does my ear tell me? When I start playing by touch, a different part of my guitar persona comes out. And I'm like, I want to know that guy. I want to really kind of, because that guy hears things. I got to write this down. That guy hears things that I can't see. And that's such a fundamental part of this. That guy hears things that I can't see. I love that. And that's really, such a huge part of this, because if you can hear things on the instrument And literally, and that's kind of where I'm going with this. Like, I just played 2 notes, and the idea is like, 3 weeks ago or so, I was like, I want other guitar players. Ultimately, the goal of this is multifold. I think a disproportionate number of the people that I interact with, for good, bad, or otherwise. Hey, Sonny, what's going on, my man? It's better to memorize. I'm glad you taught it the way I am too. And here's the thing: is I am increasingly moving towards some sort of online masterclass thing, but I'm also wanting to really kind of get much better at what I present and how I present on Saturday mornings. So I got old friends and even older friends like Sonny, who are tuning in, that have been on this journey with me for a long time. And if I can kind of in my own way kind of go, well, I'm trying to find what's next out there. That's my swimming forward imitation. Then hopefully other people will be hopefully inspired to do the same thing. Kind of go, well, he's been doing this long enough. He's not going after the same thing. I'm going after what's next, because there's something more. And this whole thing about playing by touch is really important. And the idea of the goal of that is, one, a disproportionate of the number of people that I think hang out with me spend more time jamming over jam tracks. And I want them to get better at the things that they play and not have to look at the neck and play the same regurgitated licks they've been playing. But I also want the ones that are actually like, I would. I knew it was a 4 and I didn't play it. It's not the voicing I was looking for, but the point being is you begin to kind of go, I know I wanted. There we go. And when I start playing by sight, I was like, I'm going to play the same chord the way I play it. I'm going to use the same pick stroke. I'm a much more interesting player when I'm not looking at what I'm doing. If I'd looked, I would have gone. I wouldn't have gone and played the little Phrygian dominant guy. And that is to say, I went here. That would have been 4 chord to a 3 chord. Just take my word for it. This little bit of business, that's a 1, 5, 6, 3, sharp, 11, 7. That's a major 13, sharp 11. That can only be. That's what I would have done over that chord, even though I was really kind of going 4 chord to a 3 chord that's been turned from a minor 7 into a dominant 7. I would have bluesed it out if I'd looked at it like that. Again, the guy that I am, but when I play like this, and I heard the flat 6. Which basically was my ear kind of going, hey, that can be leading over that chord, basically. That's I'm playing that chord as a 4 chord. It's the micro modality of B flat Lydian. And then I heard this chord here as, instead of playing this, it heard it as this. Again, whatever the heck it was, is that I'm a much more interesting when the guy I played stuff. Hold on, what was the quote? That guy hears things that I can't see. That's just it. Benny, what's going on? Amen, brother. And the band into the note you hear. not the note you see. It's it's so funny because and I don't know, it kind of the funny thing is, and this is getting back and beating up a little bit on Caged. Because Caged is such a box system. Gosh, that me and that chord, that it's so funny. Even the Caged guys have a hard time playing that chord. Which I guess means I have not identified as a Caged guy. But I am really wanting to understand what Caged people understand about the music, because there's value. And I also want to understand what Caged inadequacies are. So as I work with players, without beating up on Caged any more than I already have, I can go, hey, you know what? I love the idea of being able to have different types of voicings that I can blatantly place up and down the neck. That's a giant win. They go like, I want to see here, I want to see here, I want to see here. I want a crappy sounding C because I can't play it there and there and that. That's a giant win. But if I don't understand that that's a 1-3-5-1-3, and I don't understand that's a 1-5-1-3-5, I don't understand that's a 1-3-1-3-5-1-3-1, and that's 1-5-1-3-5-1, and that's 1-5-1-3 and 1-3-5-1-3, and I don't have a way of understanding that, then we're in a different place versus this little bit of nonsense right here. Am I in the right place? There we go. That if I just take the 1-3-5 of that mode and the 1-3-5 of that mode, and that's where these chords come from, and I can build any one of those chords. If I'm in the key of C, all right, fine, beautiful. So I'm just taking the C, G, C, E, G, C, E, C, G, E, C, E, C, E, G, C, E, G. Sorry, C, E, G, C, E, C, C. I'm like, I don't know about you, but like I'm not stuck inside the box there. And if there's any complaint that I think guitar players have a problem with, they feel boxed in. And but again, now taking a hybrid of that, it was literally one of the guitar players I saw was doing a thing on Caged, and he just said, hey, if you play just from the fourth string of this chord, that's a C major in first inversion. I was waiting for him to go and play it diatonically, and it was just, he just left it at the door. I was just like, you were right there. Because then all of a sudden what you've done is you've totally made it totally easy to be able to map inversions. I was like, dude, I'll run with that. You just left it for somebody else to grab this. Like, it's just so cool, because you're like, holy cow. Because and what's neat about it, where inversions, I mentioned this before, are tricky. That's a G major triad. It's just the 1, 3, and 5 of the G major scale. That's G, B, and D. Take my word for it. G, A, B, C, D. G, B, D. This is B, D, G. And this is D, G, B. 1, 3, 5, 3, 5, 1, 5, 1, 3. It took me a long time to just kind of be able to do that, but it's confusing to kind of map the shapes up and down the neck and see all that stuff. To be able to go like this and take that C major chord and literally just take across those 3 strings and just be able to go. And like it took the mystery out of, I guess not, out of inversions, because I was like, holy cow, this is the greatest tool I've ever had. And it was in the course of a Caged lesson that I saw that. But the poor guy just like didn't actually kind of, he got up to the threshold, he was knocking, but he just didn't come in. I was like, it's magic. All right, hang on a second. Eric Martin Bureau. Andy's got some interesting thoughts. Chords should get degraded to grips. A chord shouldn't get degraded into, I take it that is into groups. Well, here's the thing. First of all, Andy, I know you meant groups, correct? Yeah, I'm sure you did. So, well, here, I'm going to disagree, but in a spirit of good, positive discourse, because I adore you, and you're a studied musician. Hey, capture notes. Go capture some notes. Thank you, my friend. Have a great day. All right, here we go. Have a great one. Thanks for tuning in. All right, so, Andy, here's the thing. If I can group chords into their diatonic triadic reality. And in turn, I can go, hey, Mike Mitchell, what's going on, my man? Great to see you. If I can kind of go, okay, well, I have a major triad at the 1, 4, and the 5, I now can kind of begin to group them together in turn. And this is one of the things that I wanted to talk a little bit earlier. I wanted to talk about actually creating chords. The inherent group of that I've got a major at the 1, 4, and the 5. Means I know where I've got my major triads at the 1, 4, and 5. Add a little bit of delay because I want to. So if I were to take just these major triads that happen at, let's highlight this little bit of business right over here. And by the way, this sheet, if you just tuned, great to see you, my friend. The link is in the chat for both Facebook and Instagram. This allows me to see, all right, I've got it. If I think about the G major scale as G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. I got a major chord at the 1, 4, and 5. That's G, C, and D. I got a minor triad at the 2, 3, and 6, and a diminished triad at the 7. So if I think about where I got my major chord, and I wanted to turn that into a major add 9 instead of voicing it 1, 3, 5, I'm going to voice it 1, 5, 3, 1, 5, 3, 1, 5, 3. And instead of putting the 1 there, I moved it down there, but instead of playing the 1, I'm going to play the 2, which is now gives me the add 9. So instead of going 1, 3, 5, I'm going 1, 5, 3. And arpeggio-wise, I'm going to go 1, 5, 3, 5, 9. 1, 5, 3, 5, 9. 1, 5, 3, 5, 9. Play it right. Oh, come on. Right. Play in tune. All right, and the point being is we just took these groupings of major triads, we changed the voicing instead of going 1, 3, 5, 1, 5, 3, added the 2, an octave up, which is the 9. And if I didn't group those guys together, oh, fine. Pick the right application. I'm getting a little frustrated with myself today. There we go. All right. First of all, hello to everybody that's tuned in. If we haven't had a chance to meet, I am Doug, and I am glad you're here. Gosh darn it. I think fixed box fingering as a description of what I... Hang on, wait a second. Let me get back up. Tony, what a Super Bowl of accessible knowledge you shared today. Doug, I think you're reaching higher and higher, evolved levels of instructional capabilities, my friend. So impactful, my friend. Thank you so much for being you. You're a gem, aren't you, my friend? Cheers and have a great Super Bowl weekend, brother. You do the same, my friend. Nice to see you smiling. When I think of the impact you've had on my happiness, it brings me to happy tears, brother. Right back at you. Right back at you. So thank you. Gift of music. That's how we roll, and I love that. All right. Awesome. Thank you. Andy Guitar, I think fixed box fingering is a description of what I mean. Yeah, so here's the thing is that, okay, got it. So, this is, and again, here's the thing is I'm trying to determine, am I just a snoot that doesn't like cage because I'm a diatonic cork sniffer? That is to say, there are people that talk about the folks on the gear page as a bunch of wealthy people that collect gear and spend more time talking about it than playing it. I'm not going to weigh in with an opinion one way or the other than to say that they're gear enthusiasts. Beautiful. So the point being is that for the same reason, it's a little unfair for me to express my bias about what I think the limitations are of the cage system. The thing that really kind of makes me frustrated is, again, the Stevie Wonder song. And the guy is showing people how to play these chords. Which is really clever. He's kind of, but the thing that he does, he plays he plays the E flat, and basically, there's this little contrapuntal motion. And he's not explaining that, basically it's going 3, 5, 1, 1 flat 3 5. Right. 5 1 3, 5 1 3, 3 5, 3 5 1. So you have no idea what's really going on there. And the bummer with cage is that I've never seen it. I'm sure there are those who present it that way, going, all right, the voicing of this is 1 3 5 1 3, as in 1 3 5 1 3. And this voicing is 1 5 1 3 5 1 5 1 3 5. And this voicing, and I'm going to master that. Gosh darn, that chord hates me. All the cagers are laughing at me. They're like, loser. And the thing is, and I've got to I'm negotiating this, if I'm really honest, which I like to be. I'm negotiating kind of my bias as a diatonic thinker to kind of like relegating the guitar to just 5 shapes that are taught, because what happens when you want to go, well, what about C minor shape? I don't know. Like, I've never seen Cage kind of go, all right, well, in addition to major chords at the 1, 4, and the 5, we also have these things called minor chords that happen at the 2, 3, and the 6. How do we then take, that minor shape, it's like a C minor, like there is, the problem is there's no good, because C minor would have a C, and this is where you kind of know the notes. Knowing the notes means you actually know it's C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, G, A, B, C, D, E. Sorry, I'm not in G. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and it's C, E, and G are the 1, 3, and 5. So that's a major triad. So a minor triad, instead of going C, E, G, it's going to be C, E, flat, G, which instead of 1, 3, 5 is 1 flat, 3, 5. Well, guess what? C, E, so it's C, E flat, G, C, C, and then your high E string, you're screwed. Hey, Craig Rosen, hello. You missed the whole diatribe about wet, dry, wet. Andy, that is kind of the I would love to hear what you're doing. Okay, hold on. Cage might be helpful if you also learn stuff like, and so on the other hand, as a bar chord gets moved up and down. And this is the challenge with non-diatonic chord shapes is that they are not capable of being permutated diatonically. Okay. CC is like he couldn't resist. So Chris and I have the most fun because, first of all, let me be really clear. I love that this gives people a vehicle for playing the most impossible chord shape ever. I'm going to learn this chord shape because, there's a scene in The Mask of Zorro, I think, where this one guy has got Antonio Banderas is I think the head of his brother in this alcohol and he brings a whatever they're drinking out of and says just to be able to drink from the eyes of your enemy. Well, I'm not seeing Cage as my enemy. As a diatonic player, the problem with Cage is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Last time I tried divide 7 by 5. Siri, what is 7 divided by 5? 1.4. Now, I don't necessarily know how I can apply 1.4 on the guitar. But the idea of being able to see all those different voicings is hugely valuable because then you can do that. But the ability to go, hey, and again, being able to move things from inside these shapes, sorry, or maybe not, and be able to see what's going on inside these shapes and then be able to build off of them is where the fun starts. And more importantly, being able to go, of these shapes, which ones are scalable? For example, with the exception of when you get to this guy up here. Oh, Chris, I can't wait for your lesson. So basically, there's the 1 chord, 2 chord, 3 chord, 4 chord, 5 chord, 6 chord, 7 chord, 1 chord. So we can actually. Sorry. So that one is scalable. Nobody really wants to play this chord shape, but it's doable. So I'm using the tip of the first finger and the fleshy part to play the 1 and the flat 5. That's 1 flat 5, 1 flat 3, flat 5. That's actually doable. But that allows you to play this. Sorry, there's C major, D minor, E minor, C major, D major, E minor, F sharp diminished. What am I in? C major, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, B diminished, C to major, using those guys. This one is a lot harder because the voicing has that 1 and the 5, and then your 5's right there. There's no real easy way to be able to play all of this shenanigans. 1 flat 5, 1 flat 3, flat 5. Oh gosh, that's just mean. And it can't really be done hitting all those notes in there. But the point being is that if you take just a major chord and just focus on, I don't know, the 6th, 5th, and 4th string, and you go, hey, let's map it diatonically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Inside there's a lot of great stuff, and let's see. All right, now what's neat about this is that if you're working on spread chords, no, they don't lend itself. At least it gives you a framework of stuff to work with, though. So off of this shape and off of this shape, you can take the 1, 5, and 3. This is a 1, 5, 1, 3, 5, 1, 5, 3, 1, 5, flat 3, 1, 5, flat 3, 1, 5, 3, 1, 5, 3, 1, 5, flat 3, 1, flat 5, flat 3, 1, 5, 3, and off this shape, 1, 5, 3. And in any case, I digress. But not in 8-minute YouTube videos. Okay, some folks teach Cage with major, minor, minor 7, flat 5 shapes connected, and then with 7 chords as well as connected to all the scale shapes and for each letter. I am looking for divergent cage things, and again the well, he was kind of hanging on it. So it was really cool how we was showing people to kind of take just one little area of the neck. So there is an F major in first inversion. That is a B flat minor, just B flat minor, and then an E flat major, D flat major, E flat major, back to your F major. So if you're a funk player, being able to do stuff like that is great. But you know, I think Chris, maybe one of the lessons that we went over. So it's just going G major, A minor, B minor, C major, D major. How do I hit E minor? So how am I going to play E minor? Oh, I can play it like that. But how? E G B. B. No, that's not what I want to do. G major, A minor, B minor, C major, D major, E minor. Oh, there's my E minor. Right. G major, A minor, B minor, C major, D major, E minor, F sharp diminished, and G major. So it's for me, it's much more orderly to be able to go, okay, wait. We're going to learn to play voicings 1 3 5, 1 flat 3 5, 1 flat 3 5, 1 3 5, 1 3 5, 1 flat 3 5, 1 flat 3 5, 1 3 5. That's my 1 chord. There's my 2 chord. Then this little shape right here, that is basically, if I took, I tell it. This is just if I took, for example, a C major bar chord, I'd turn to a C minor bar chord, and I look purely at the notes instead of going C G C E G C G C E G. That is a 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 1 2 3 4 5 1 5 1 3 5 1 5 1 3 5. And I could go, well, if that's 1 5 1 3 5, then that is 1 5 1 flat 3 5. If that was E, that's going to be an E flat. Okay, great. If I just take that little bit of business right there, that's a minor shape. Major shape, minor shape. So there's G major, A minor, B minor, C major, D major, and that's going basically, you could see this coming off of, so again, if I go caged here, that little bit right there, that's that C major, moved up there, that's 3 5 1, and then 5 flat, there's 3 5 1 flat 3 5 1, 1 flat 3 flat 5, and 1 3 5. So it enables you to kind of be inside the shapes rather than just kind of boxing them together. But I am waiting to see some other folks use caged in a way where they kind of explain the missing pieces that it's usually taught with. And again, let me be really clear. I love the fact that it's showing people how to play the hardest G chord shape ever. That chord hates me. Just terrible. Because if you go like this, all right, that's cheating to just not include that in there. I wonder if most cage people don't actually play that chord. I don't know. Brett, have a great rest of your day. Thanks so much, CC, but not an 8-minute. All right, good. Andy, I would agree with you that cage has its limitations, especially when it comes to 7th chords. I came up with a version to have a 5 minor shapes available, though, links perfectly to the minor pentatonic shape. So here's the interesting thing about all of this, and this is and I got to go in just a second because I have an 11:30 lesson. First of all, thank you for hanging out. Second of all, when I got to GIT at that time, it was before Paul Gilbert and before GIT became a shredder school. And one of the things, the way they taught the modes, they showed major like this, then they played Dorian, and this was Phrygian. And I was like, you just played the same shape but started off the second note. Because if I'm going to take the major scale and I'm going to take it to 1, 3, and 5 and build a chord, I'm going to take the Dorian mode and build a chord. The idea of being able to go from chords to shapes, shapes to chords, so I should say mode shapes, where one for one diatonically you have 7 chords because you got 7 notes in the major scale, and they just kind of go together. So when I saw them kind of doing it, and the reason they did that was they were taking a minor pentatonic shape and modalizing it. And that did not have a way to unscramble for people that don't understand the theory behind it. You're just making a spreadsheet and going, here you go, have at it. Versus like, hey, if you take the first 7 notes of the major scale, the fingering, and the Dorian, and Phrygian, and Lydian, and mixed Lydian. Not only can you hear major 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Dorian 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, 1. Phrygian flat 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7, 1. Lydian 2, 3, sharp 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Mixed Lydian 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, 1. Minor 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7, 1. Locrian flat 2, flat 3, 4, flat 5, flat 6, flat 7, 1. That right there is, if I take for major 1, 3, 5, Dorian 1, flat 3, 5, Phrygian 1, flat 3, 5. So you begin to kind of have this one-to-one relationship with what's happening off of each individual scale degree number, and in turn off of each scale degree number how you'd build a fingering. And out of that fingering you would select whichever notes you want to use to build a. All right, y'all. I need to jump and get ready for my lesson. Thank you so much for hanging out. Just since you came all the way to the end here, I'm kind of working some stuff out about how I want to keep some of this loosey-goosey and also creating... Chris, thank you, man. All the way to the end. But also, I'm beginning to bring a little bit more form in there. So there's going to be some things where I'm going to add some regular form. But I'm also liking the looseness of it. So, in any case, I thank you for hanging out. Really, what a pleasure. I'm going to find that happy medium. But I appreciate all the feedback and the thoughts. So thank you all. Have a great one. Look forward to seeing you next Saturday. Have an amazing week and a happy Super Bowl Sunday.